When we were kids, or if you have kids, we are used to certain behaviors, okay? Behaviors that are just unacceptable, inexcusable, but we kind of allow it to happen because we say, well, I'm just young, I'm a kid, or they're young, they're a kid, they're just being childish. And so we use that as an excuse to overlook it. But what happens when that same childish behavior goes into your adulthood? Is it still unacceptable? Is it still inexcusable? Do we still overlook it? Ladies and gents, it's your girl, Miss Charlotte, and I love to talk about our issues. We all have issues. How we deal with our issues, that is truly the difference. And every Wednesday, I just want you to think about some things. This video is going to be a double extra plus because it's for you to think about some things for yourself, but it's also if you have any kids or if you have any teenagers, this could be a good way for you to be proactive in what kind of adult you're producing, if you will. So I had a great experience this weekend. I got to catch up with a longtime friend from New York, and we did a Zoom. Beautiful, smart, intelligent, talented woman. And she has a project, which is going to be something coming up. So don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification bell because some surprises is going to be coming up on Saturdays. So, my sexy Saturdays. But anyway, getting back to the point. She and I were talking and I got to check out her podcast. And it was so refreshing to just hear women with a vast vocabulary. And instantly I felt insecure in a sense that it heightened what I lack, which is a really robust vocabulary. There's no excuse not to have a really rich vocabulary, especially in today's technology. You have Google, you have ebooks. All you really need to do is read more, Google something. There is no excuse. Now, for me, the only way a new word makes it into my verbal, arsenal is if it feels natural. If I like a word and it feels good and I can remember it and I'm not feeling insecure if I'm saying it properly, I will incorporate it. But I'm not one of these people who's going to try to fake it till you make it and try to use all these big words to come off like I'm something that I'm not, okay? And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, the childish behavior. When we were kids, it was a thing where if you knew something, you made the other person who did know something feel some type of way. So you know how it went when we were kids. It was like, oh, you didn't know? Oh, let me tell you. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, let me tell you. Oh, you didn't know that word? Oh, let me tell you. That's how it was. We were kids. We were dumb. We didn't know any better. But that behavior somehow has carried on into adulthood. And it's kind of said the same way, but then there's different versions of it. And I wanted to kind of talk about that just to bring some awareness and for you to just really take some time to see if this is you. And if it is, it's all good. The whole thing is to look at our issues, face them, deal with them, heal, and then we win. That's the whole point of dealing with your issues, okay? So I was sharing with her and I said to her, I said, I really appreciated the vocabulary that was in the podcast. You girls are just so refreshing, you're educated, and I love that you really didn't use a lot of profanity. I love profanity, okay? So let me just say that. But I really enjoyed that they really didn't use a lot of profanity, that they used other words. And it was words that I knew, but it was just so cool to hear how they would use a word to describe something. And I was sharing that with her. And instead of taking that moment to boast or brag, because this is not who she is. She just was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, keep listening because we do get more vulgar and we do use some profanity. But yeah, and it was just that. And then I shared an experience with her with someone I thought was a friend years ago back in New York. And I was telling her that when you live in a small town or when you have limited education, sometimes it is phonetic. You hear something, and because you hear it, you think it's proper. A lot of times we don't research to know if that word is right. So you may phonetically hear something and it could be correct, but because you've heard it over and over again, or you heard it a certain way, you just take it for that's what it is. That's how it sounds. So I had this experience. I was young, and I was talking to this person I thought was a friend, and there was other issues before all of this happened. But I was talking to this woman, and I said the 16th chapel. And she started laughing so hard. She was cracking up. And I'm sitting up there feeling some type of way, insecure, like I don't understand what I just said, what was so funny. And then she took the time after she laughed so hard and made me feel some type of way. Then she decided to educate me and say, it's the Sistine Chapel. Sistine Chapel. I'm like, oh, okay. I've always thought I heard 16. Again, it is what it is. I'm being very raw and very honest. And I just kind of looked at our friendship because there are people who are very book smart, but have no common sense. And this was a person who lacked a lot of common sense. And I was a friend to her when her common sense wouldn't kick in with certain relationship issues. I wouldn't make her feel a type of way. I didn't make her feel like I was more street smart. I didn't make her feel like I had more common sense than her. I took the time to just educate her on the situation. If your man told you he was with his homeboy for 24 hours, but we just saw homeboy and he said he just got back from, a vacation, it's obvious that your boyfriend is lying to you, right? Okay. And instead of making her feel bad or something, I would just try to make sure that she understood what was going on, and just kind of, I would try to encourage her to be stronger to deal with being lied to. Okay. So when you care about a person or you really want to be a friend, you take the time to enlighten them. You do not take the time to insult them. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. If you have a great vocabulary, if you know more than someone in your circle, do not use the opportunity to make them feel less than. Do not say, oh, you didn't know? Because if they knew, instead of saying, oh, you didn't know, take the time to educate them. If they're saying a word the wrong way, take the time to tell it to them the right way. Educate them so that when they go out into the world, they're not embarrassed in front of strangers and talked about behind their back. That's what real friends do. That's what real family do. You take the time to educate someone. And so at that point, when she just laughed so hard, I said, well, can I ask you a question? And she said, yeah. I said, well, why did you laugh for so long? What was so funny? And she really couldn't understand. She just thought it was funny. But I'm like, but why was it so funny? And don't get me wrong. You can laugh. You can be like, oh my God, that's not how you say it. And then just say it and just teach them. But it was something, it was some hater in that, because all this time I've been very supportive, but it was almost like they were waiting for something to be wrong to highlight. And that's the sense I got out of it. But if you have kids and you hear them saying this, don't dismiss it as, oh, they're a kid. Don't dismiss it as, oh, it's childish. Take the time to teach them right then and there, because a lot of times our childish behavior has gone unchecked and has made it into our adulthood. And because we're grown, sometimes people just don't know how to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. Now, if you are a type of person that just loves this kind of stuff and loves to make people feel some type of way because it makes you feel better, then go ahead, do you, okay? This video is not for you. And this is another thing I wanted to say for parents. There's certain parents who have great patience. They really care about their child's education, their intelligence, their common sense, and their experiences in life. So what they do is they take the time to answer their questions. And a lot of you is probably going to crack up at what I'm about to say right now. A lot of us was raised where if we asked too many questions, we was told, shut the hell up, you talking too much. Or be quiet. Didn't I tell you to be quiet before we came in here? You know, it was always shut up. And it would just be a question. And as kids, we're very curious. We want to know why. Mama, daddy, why is this? Why is that? And then when you answer, well, why is that? And yes, it could be annoying. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm just pointing this out because I want you to just think about some things and think about how the long-term effect when you have a kid, or if you were a kid and you've been constantly told to shut up when you question something. Imagine all of those questions unanswered. If they would have been answered, how much better off in life could you have been? So when you have a kid and they ask a lot of questions, try to make a game of it, even if you don't know the answer. Because I realized that as I got older, that a lot of times we were told to shut up simply because out of insecurity and fear. Maybe our parents didn't know the answer and it made them feel a certain type of way. So therefore it was easier just to tell us to shut up. So if that's you and you feel like you can't really help your kid, make it a game. You have cell phones, the technology is there. When they ask you a question, make it a game and say, I don't know. Look it up. Let's look it up together, and let them look it up and let them tell it to you. Or you look it up and you tell it to them, depending on the age. Make it a game and enlighten both of you, educate both of you, but do take the time to answer. If you can't answer all the questions, come on now, try to answer, I don't know, try to answer 65%. You know, that's way better than 0%. Try to answer your child's questions 65% of the time, because it will make them so much smarter and it will give them a head start in this cruel, hateful, backstabbing game of life, okay? Because a lot of times people would just let you say things and do things and never try to help you by educating you and pulling your coattail and just saying, you know, that's not really how you say it, or that's not true, or that's not the real way. This is that, or this is how you do it, or this is how you say it, or no, this is not true. Those little teachable moments are so caring. And if you could care about somebody enough to just pull their coattail, take them to the side, you don't have to embarrass them unless that's what you're trying to do. Now, if someone is trying to embarrass you all the time, you be aware of that as well. Let them go. That's a toxic person. Let them go. You can try to tell them how it makes you feel. You can point it out to them. But if they continue to try to always point out how much smarter they are than you, how much more educated they are than you, how many more words they know, if they continue to make you feel some type of way, you got to let them go. It's no longer excusable to let childish behavior in adult life go unchecked. Again, just take the time to think about it. If you understand what I'm talking about, give me the thumbs up. If you don't, give me the thumbs down. Leave it in the comment section. We are grown, we're sexy. We can agree to disagree. Leave it in the comment section. Just keep it cute. Any hate is going to get deleted. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. I love my subs. Please subscribe. Share this video with someone you care about. And if you're watching this on my Facebook page, please like my page and share. And if you're watching this on my IGTV, please follow and share. And until next week, I'll see you later.